Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome back to another Friday Fireside chat as we make our way through February, where the theme of the month is self-compassion and self-kindness. We're making our way, guys. Nice and big sigh to release some of the energy. Just relax today. Coming to the message, I want to expose you guys or share something with you called Bioenergetics. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but I might have mentioned it briefly in passing, but I wanted to reference it more specifically and share with you guys some brief references. So we're going to be listening to a short talk today, and this is from the Geneva Health YouTube page. So he's a doctor talking about his experience with bioenergetics and better understanding how life is an energy exchange process, and how this understanding will help us understand, or I should say, this new knowledge will help us improve our worldview, which is something I believe is critical in the reparenting journey, which again is why I've created the daily structure of, exposing to information. And, critics might say, well, it's a bit too intellectual because it's always in your head. And, healing is not in the head, it's in the body. And that's very true. But as long as you have faulty thoughts going, you're going to be creating the same reality, the same chemicals in your body, and the same situations. And so to get unstuck, you have to create a new worldview, understanding of how the world works, because a faulty understanding will create limitations. It will prevent progress that you should be making. And so it's so very important that we work on improving our worldview. And bioenergetics was an essential part of this for me in my process of reparenting. It has been and is still continuing to be. I'm actually now working with a therapist through this more in detail. It also touches on the somatic piece. It really is a somatic type of therapy and experience. So I've put some links down in the show notes so you can read some more if you're interested into that. But this was something that created by Dr. Alexander Lowen and John Periokas. So it's a type of analysis and therapy, the subsequent that follows after it, to help you better understand the body, how energy gets stuck in the body, how energy and energetic patterns create certain effects in the body. So posture issues, diseases, or even how it leads to optimal functioning of the body, right? So it's about how to understand how energy impacts our bodies, as we are all energetic beings, and takes it to a biological analytical point by understanding how it impacts us on a biological level, which our biology obviously then impacts our not only appearance but behavior as well, and thoughts and everything like that. So it's all about an energetic system. And so without me going on rambling too much longer, let's go ahead and take a listen to this talk by Harry Massey, who is actually the CEO of NES Health, not a doctor, but a researcher.
In this presentation, we're going to look at some of the most fundamental bioenergetic healing principles that you can use to get you super well. Now, fundamentally, when we're looking at life is basically an energy exchange system. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, there's a few basics. So we're always exchanging oxygen, and we basically breathe in oxygen and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. That's one form of energy exchange. We also go out in sunlight, and sunlight hits us and basically is able to transform photons into a source of energy, i.e. electrons. We also eat, we also excrete, we also move, we also drink water, and we also, of course, excrete water. Now, all of these are different forms of energy exchange. And without us exchanging energy with our environment, we basically don't have life. Now, when we look at health in the context of this idea of exchanging energy, well, health therefore also must come from optimizing how we're exchanging energy from our environment. So if we're able to surround ourselves with the right energetic environment and exchange energy in the most appropriate ways, we're also able to optimize our health. And that really is what bioenergetics is all about, because bioenergetics is the study, detection, and correction of energy in living systems. Now, the bioenergetic wellness system and the overall study of bioenergetics basically uses 3 ways to help exchange energy with your environment. Now, the first way that you can optimize how you exchange energy with your environment is literally through change habits. Now, this is where the bioenergetic wellness system is particularly powerful, because the recommendations that it gives are exactly specific to the scan results. And so what we've done is basically created a number of videos that will help clients to learn how they can optimize their exchange of energy and basically adopt healthier habits that's going to give them a massive impact on their health. Because as people start to adopt healthier habits, they also start to restore their health, and of course they feel much better too. Now, the second way that we're able to optimize the way clients are able to exchange energy with their environment is through the use of infoceuticals. Now, of course, everyone really gets very excited about infoceuticals, because when we're looking at our overall body field theory, what we're truly looking at is a cellular communication network, of which if we provide the optimal information, or if you like, the optimal blueprint for how particular cells are working, i.e. the blueprint for kidney or the blueprint for liver, we can basically provide that information to the body field. The cells pick up that information, and then they start to restore or go back towards that particular type of functioning. Now, the third way is through using the MyHealth. And the MyHealth is also particularly powerful at helping to release and unblock any energy blockages. So for instance, if we're looking at my arm here, let's say we have some scar tissue or some pain here, and it's and the chi or the energy is not running very smoothly down my arm, we would basically get the MyHealth, place it on that particular spot, start easing it out, and you can start to notice, as you start to know how to use the MyHealth, that the MyHealth will basically be able to run more easily over that area as the energy starts to get to release. And as soon as you start having proper energy flow right across the body, it's also pretty incredible how the body's own healing mechanisms start to work properly. Because again, what we're trying to do is optimize how energy is exchanging both within the body. We're also trying to optimize how information is being communicated within the body. And as we mentioned at the beginning, we're also optimizing through habits how energy is exchanging with our environment. Now, if you do all 3, the body's own healing mechanisms are going to be given the best possible chance at helping you to restore your health. Now, fortunately, the body is holographic, which all that really means is that it's interconnected. And because it's interconnected, all 3 ways will actually work independently. But of course, if we use all 3, we're going to get the most powerful results. Now, although the MyHealth and infoceuticals are able to create immediate responses, in the end, in the long term, to create long-lasting transformation, you also need to adopt healthier habits. So please don't see the infoceuticals and MyHealths as some sort of miracle magic pill or magic bullet. Now let's just have a look at some of the macro ways that we exchange energy environment. Now, as we've mentioned before, we basically exchange oxygen, water, light, nutrients, and electrons. And often in the health field, especially the biohacking type world, we think, well, we need to exchange as much as possible. Now, that isn't true. There's basically an optimal amount, not just a maximum amount. So for instance, if we're looking at oxygen, well, yes, it's great to go and use a hyperbaric chamber where you're breathing in 100% oxygen under pressure for an hour and a half or maybe up to 2 hours. It's not optimal to go and live in 100% oxygen, because your body is just going to become weak. Likely it's also too toxic. So, that's one example where you really want optimal, not maximal. Same with water. Your kidneys can only cope with a certain amount of water all day. You're not going to want to stress out your kidneys by drinking vast amounts of water. The same is true with sunlight or light. A certain amount of sunlight is super healthy, but you don't necessarily want to go out in the really hot, bright sunshine for hours each day, so your skin ends up blistering and inflamed and red. And absolutely the same applies with eating. You can have the best green juices and smoothies in the world, but equally, of course, you really do not want to be overeating, because overeating is one of the surest ways to diabetes and sugar regulation problems and cardiovascular problems. Now, the second part of this idea of optimal variance is literally in the word variance. So the body actually loves variety, and one very easy way of seeing that is through our circadian rhythms. Part of the day we like to be awake, part of the day we like to be asleep. Or if we're training, the body part of the time likes to stress the body with exercise, and then part of the time we need to nurture our body and rest. And so really, to be able to optimize our health, we basically need to introduce a lot of variance. So some stress, some nurture, some awake time, some sleep time, sometimes perhaps too much oxygen, sometimes perhaps too less oxygen, sometimes perhaps a little bit too much water, sometimes a little bit dehydrated. But this idea of variance will basically help the body to increase its flexibility of how it can handle different circumstances in the environment. And the more you're able to increase the flexibility that your body can handle within the environment, the more often you're going to feel well in more circumstances. Now, with this idea of variance, we also come across what is too much stress and what is too little stress. Now, often when people are ill, they actually expose themselves to too little stress. Now, one of the things that happened when I had chronic fatigue is I didn't stress my body enough. Now, what I mean by that is I didn't actually exercise my body enough. So at that time, my body ended up becoming weaker and weaker till I ended up bedridden for a number of years. Whereas even though I didn't have any energy at that time, if I'd actually exercised a bit more, stressed my body a bit more while providing the nurture, I most likely would have had a much shorter period of having chronic fatigue. Now, of course, you can also expose your body to too much stress if you're constantly exercising and overdoing it without giving yourself enough rest. The body ends up breaking down to such a point where you start getting more and more exhausted. And of course, really the optimal here again is in that concept of variance. We want to stress the body a bit, we want to nurture the body a bit, and ultimately the more nurture that we can provide the body, so the more things like my health treatments, the more meditation, rest, massage, really healthy food, all of these nurturing types of activity, the more stress our body can actually handle and then adapt to. So ultimately what we're really trying to do is increase the nurture and increase the stress, so our body becomes more adaptable and has more flexibility in how it can interact with our environment. Because if it's able to interact with the environment in a broader way, then again, we become healthier in more and more circumstances, which is ultimately what we all want out of our lives.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that very brief introduction to bioenergetics and how it applies to our health in this specific discussion. As I mentioned before, you can find some other links in the show notes if you want to learn more about the details of the bioenergetic therapy, how that comes together with this types of analysis, and how you can begin incorporating this into your own process of letting go of childhood trauma, childhood pain, grief, loss, physical ailments, depression, or anxiety. All of these are things that can be helped with the assistance of bioenergetics. So really returning to your life force, your chi energy. This is what gives you vitality and health, wellness. And so, as always, don't forget to have some fun this weekend. Take some time to connect with your body. Do some more research and digging into bioenergetics in case you haven't done so yet. Because we are all energy beings, and this is one of the most crucial parts of our journey of self-expansion, because it is how we gain the energy in order to activate our capacity to expand. Because childhood trauma, those wounds, they basically, it's not, a wound, again, a healing wound, that word is, that's what we've been used to saying. But for me, it becomes a limitation. It's kind of like the fable of the golden Buddha who was covered up by the mud, so that the coming village would not, attacking army would not steal the golden Buddha. So they covered it with mud, and then one day, years later, someone was uncovering it after all of the years of debris building up and everything like that, and they uncovered the golden Buddha hidden there. And is this kind of process, this unveiling. So I don't know necessarily that you are wounded. Your perception is distorted. Your frequency has been tilted because of your understandings, which are your beliefs, which then create your thoughts and then the energetic patterns. So that's why, again, I say using that word wound and healing, again, it might keep us stuck in a certain paradigm that leaves us hopeless or despairing or feeling that there has to be so much energy or that the solution is so difficult and life is over and so many consequences, and all of this kind of catastrophizing. I think it's easy to catastrophize that way, especially when you think about the state of the world and how can I heal in the state of this world that is so chaotic, because we're all together, so there's also that part of the situation. So how do you then maintain hope and maintain focus on yourself and your growth, even when things on the outside are chaotic? I mean, it's kind of funny because it's not funny, but it's a unique experience to have grown up in chaos. Normally, the external world was stable and you were feeling like the odd one out because you were dysregulated in a world where everyone was performing stability. And now you've grown up with this internal chaos and now the external world is in chaos. And so there's a bit of a strange situation that we find ourselves in. It's almost in a way that we've been battle hardened because we've lived our life this way. And so not to say that what's happening now doesn't impact us, because of course it does. And in many ways it can impact us more significantly because we might be more sensitive or even aware. We might have more values aligned with truth and justice and honesty and so forth. And that can cause stronger responses for certain people, not for everyone who's been through trauma responds the same way, but that's something that can happen. But on the other side, if you think of it, you have dealt with chaos that's been nonstop and you've survived. So now that the external is also a bit more chaotic, you're kind of in familiar territory. Now, I know they're completely different, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter or that it's even a good thing, and definitely not. But if you ever find yourself getting overwhelmed by what's happening in the world or around you, just remember where you've come from. You've survived, you've made it. In many cases, you've survived and you're just, you've thrived actually, and you're judging yourself harshly and you don't even realize how far you've come. All just because of a faulty perception. And that faulty perception will impact your vibe via the energy that you're sending out from your thoughts, which then impacts your behaviors, which impacts how other people respond to you, which is like a cascading effect. So sometimes the answer is so much easier than you realize. So if you find yourself getting overwhelmed, remember these words: the answer is easier than you realize. Stop telling yourself, stop reading, stop supporting people who are saying, oh, it's too late, I can never heal, it's too much damage, I don't have what I need, it's impossible for me, it's been too long. All of these pessimistic and hopeless statements and beliefs, it's just, self-limiting for no reason. It's a false belief that has been sometimes orchestrated by some people with influence to keep you in this perpetual state of despair so that they can make money from your situation. That's what a lot of this pop psychology, self-help industry has become on social media. Very few people are talking about real things, what it actually takes. I mean, even when you go to a certified therapist, even they really don't have the knowledge and awareness and skills or personal experience to really be able to walk someone back to a place of healing and wholeness. Not always, not everyone is incapable, but it's not so much that they are incapable and looking down on their skills or qualifications. It's more the fact that it takes truly so much as someone who is taking the work and who has never met a psychologist who has gone to the depths of understanding that I have. I have a very good understanding of how much work it takes, how much patience, how much presence, how much focus, how much reading, dedication, willingness, and willfulness. And so, as I detour a bit from the topic of bioenergetics, I think, this is such an important part of our journey, is how we maintain the momentum, get the energy going and maintain the momentum. Bioenergetics has the answer to that. And so I strongly suggest that you look that up. Bioenergetics, these movements, these exercises, in combination with your eating patterns, your diet, all of these things matter. How to get ourselves back up in form and in shape. It sounds cheesy and cliche, but you truly are the creator of your own reality. You have so much potential. You have so much to offer. Don't waste another second hiding all of your gifts that you have to share. Don't waste another second in depletion. Do not let your vitality go by the wayside. You are here for joyous expansion. You are here to experience joy, peace, and abundance. This is your natural birthright. It's your natural state. Like the Golden Buddha. You just have to take time to remove these faulty beliefs and understandings. That's it for today. I think this is the second exit, but this is the real exit for real now. So I think we already said it, but don't forget to have some fun this weekend. Learn about bioenergetics. Think about your energy, how to come back to yourself. Think about different strategies you can employ. Think about where you're at right now. I will also next week talk about some other tools that I've been using because I've talked long enough today. So hope you guys have a nice weekend and look forward to next week because I have something very exciting to share with you guys. It's another tool, not free, but not expensive at all. So I'm looking forward to share that with you guys. And until then, have a great weekend, have some fun, and please take care of yourself.